Good evening. I'm Don Jorgensen with the Kettleland News Election Night Update. Polls in eastern South Dakota are just minutes from closing. Voters still have another hour in the western part of the state. But right now we are joined by U.S. Republican Senator John Thune to talk about the importance of today's election. Thank you, Senator, for being here. It's always nice to be a part of an election when you're not the one who's running.
When you're not on the ballot.
Correct?
Those are the best kind.
Yeah. So there are 30 seats up for election in the Senate. Which ones are you watching closely?
Well, I mean, the so-called Rust Belt seats, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, obviously Ohio. We think there's a path to the majority in the Senate that starts in West Virginia, goes to Montana, then to Ohio, and that would get us to 52 seats. And then if we could pick up a couple of those other ones I mentioned, we could get into a nice, a good majority. And so obviously we're hopeful.
It kind of mirrors what's happening in the presidential race.
It does. Those states are all the battleground states in the presidential race. It just so happened this year that we had competitive Senate races in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona and Nevada. So if you look at it, they really do mirror, and a lot of what happens at the top of the ticket will have implications for our Senate candidates down ballot.
So talk a little bit about how you're feeling right now, your gut instinct about how the Republicans are going to do tonight.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it, at the presidential level, it seems like it's a bit of a jump ball. I still think in the end people are going to vote on high prices and open borders, which I think is good for Trump. I hope he wins at the top of the ticket. But in the Senate races, we are very hopeful that we can get a majority, not only perhaps a one-vote majority, but a little bit beyond that. And it would be great to get to 53 or 54 seats in the United States Senate. But I do think that 52 is very achievable. Okay,
we got about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Just want to quickly ask about your leadership role. Depending on what happens tonight, there's going to be an impact there somewhere. You concerned about that?
Well, sure. I mean, next week we have a leadership election in the Senate, and we'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful. If depending on what happens tonight, we're going to have a new president to work with, obviously, and a new Senate. And I hope to be right in the mix to take on the challenges we need to face as a country.
And quickly, you spent a little bit of money with these other senators across the country.
Yes, we have. Many, more than little money, actually.
Yeah.
We've invested heavily in a lot of these competitive Senate races.
All right, Senator Thune, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Don.
Be sure to stay with Kettleland.com and Kettleland On Air for complete election coverage tonight.